behind us as far as vacation goes, and it is time for the NASCAR Xfinity Series to hit the track once again. We're live on Fox Sports 1. It's Fast Friday, presented by K&N. And you look at the weather, and if you looked at it early in the week, you said, oh boy, what about that chance of thunderstorms? Forget about it. It's been perfect today. High temperature topping out in the low 70s. We're 68 right now. There is a breeze, but it is gorgeous. And one of the fast drivers in practice here yesterday, Regan Smith. He's with Vince Welch.
Certainly has been a good stretch of Xfinity Series racing for Regan Smith. 4 straight top 10s. Congratulations on that, and pretty good looking car this weekend. How's the speed been for you in practice?
Yeah, it's been real good. We we came off the truck, had a few things we wanted to try, and then got a chance to try those, and got back more to our baseline for the second practice. And I was real happy with the TechSlayer Chevy. It had speed and race trim. We haven't tried qualifying trim yet, so we're going to find out in a little bit here how much speed it's got. But my guys have been doing a hell of a job, and just looking forward to getting back out here. And it's 2 weeks off. It seems good on paper, and you get fidgety after the first one. Well, I didn't get fidgety after the first one, but typically you do. And I was ready. We got to Monday this week, and I'm like, man, I want to get to the racetrack.
I know that on Monday you had an opportunity to go to Augusta National. We were checking out some golf earlier today, and what was your impression of the Masters layout?
Yeah, it was phenomenal. We had a good time down there. I went down and got to hang out with some good friends with TechSlayer, and they're based in Augusta, so it was cool to go see it in person. And it's one of those places I don't know that TV did it justice, because it's just, there's not a blade of grass cut wrong on the whole facility. So I watch it with a whole new appreciation than what I even had beforehand, and we were checking it out in the lounge for a little while there before we got back focused on the race car.
Yeah, look forward to it. Good luck this weekend. Let's go to Chris Neville.
Yeah, and Austin Dillon, 2 poles this year, quickest in final practice yesterday. You just got all this speed this year. How's everything going this weekend in qualifying trim?
Well, it was very similar to Vegas. We had a fast 2 practices. I think we got a car that has a shot at the pole, and then a really good race car. I'm really proud of the guys. It's the same car we took to Vegas, so hopefully we can back up what it did there.
Yeah, you were just dominant in Vegas. Is anybody going to have a chance with you here if it's that good?
Oh, I'm sure they will. I mean, it was a tight race there at the end, and it always is in this Xfinity Series. It's a really tight race, and the cars are very competitive, and I think the biggest part about today is going to be survival and giving yourself a shot to win at the end.
Well, good luck.
Thank you, Chris. Let's look at the rules for qualifying at a 1.5 mile facility. We will have 3 sessions. The opening round will set positions 25 through 40 on the grid. It's 20 minutes in length. Then 24 cars will run for 10 minutes. That's round 2. And round 3 will set the pole in positions 1 through 12 for the starting lineup. 300 miles tonight here at Texas Motor Speedway. So good to have you with us late on a Friday afternoon with Michael Waltrip and Kenny Wallace. I'm Adam Alexander. The one thing, no doubt about it, for sure about Texas, it is fast. So we're going out to qualify, driver. What's your mindset?
Breathe, first of all. My mindset always when I come here was nerve, commitment. Mikey, when we go down into turn 1, average speed is 182. That means if they got a radar gun shooting at you going into turn 1, you're running well over 190. So when you go to qualify here, nerve, commitment, relax, but you're breathing hard.
Kenny, you talked about breathing. We used to just have to hold our breath for 1 lap. These guys have got to go out 3 different times if they're going to win the pole in order to try to do just that. The tires are going to go away. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how these guys overachieve. Back in the day, a set of stickers, no way you're going to go over any faster the next time out. Here in the fall, Tony Stewart set the track record in round 2. That was unheard of. Who will be fastest in that 3rd round? Whose car is set up for those 3 sessions? That's the question we got to ask.
So if you're one of those fast cars, are you going full throttle in rounds 1 and 2, or are you saving a little bit so you're perfect for round 3 so you can go out and grab the pole?
You're going to maybe go 80%, and that's hard for racers to do. All they've ever done is wide open. You're probably going to go 80% in the first round if you've got a good car. Save just a little bit, but in rounds 2 and 3, it's all you got.
There are also drivers that lie. They'll say, I was wide open. And they're not.
The fun continues in a moment. It's qualifying for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. We're live in Fort Worth, Texas on Fox Sports 1. There are certain nights in your career you'll never forget. For Chase Elliott, it was this race 1 year ago. He didn't have a great car early, but boy, he rallied late, dealing with the biggest names in the sport: Harvick, Kyle Busch, Dale Jr. And at the end of the evening, he had gotten his first career checkered flag, and there to greet him, his Hall of Fame father, Bill Elliott. Vince?
Yeah, always nice to be greeted in victory lane by your dad. Boy, what a special moment that was. When you look back on that day, you won this race a year ago. When you look back on that, what stands out in your mind?
Just the first for anything is always special, so I look back at that race, and being the first win means a lot. Texas will always be a special place to me for that reason, so I'm excited to be back. We've been back once since, so we would have liked to, we'd love to have another cowboy hat, so we're going to try our best tonight, and hopefully we can get a good qualifying effort here and try to have a good race.
Yeah, this 9 car's had good speed. Keep an eye out in qualifying. Chris?
Well, Eric Jones started on pole at the last race at Auto Club Speedway out in California. And Eric, we were just talking in the booth about trying to leave something on the table for round 2 and round 3. This is a high-wear racetrack. How tough is that?
Well, you know, it's always differing. We went to Auto Club there, and another pretty high-wear place, and we really didn't save a whole lot, and it worked out. So, you know, I'm going to try to be a little bit more conservative today. Honestly, that was more on accident than by design. So hopefully we can save a little bit for the last couple rounds. We've had good speed in our GameStop Camry, just a matter of getting it driving better this weekend. So we're really close, but it'll be interesting to see what the rounds do and how much you really do have to save.
Yeah, you got some good momentum coming out of California, too. That was your best finish, 3rd. How does that affect the team?
It really does. It's good positive momentum for sure. It really gives us a boost to kind of go into these next 2 weeks and know that we're a top 3 car, one that can run up front and hopefully contend for wins. So getting that pole and running up front and leading some laps was definitely a big boost for us. And hopefully it'll carry on to this week, and we'll be able to get this Mortal Kombat X Camry up to the lead and try to win a race.
Hey, thanks, Eric.
Chris, you mentioned it, 3rd at California, his career best finish. He was also 3rd at Martinsville a couple of weeks ago in the Camping World Truck Series, where he's running for the championship. 3rd in points. I guess you could say 3s are wild for Eric Jones. Bubba Wallace, another driver to watch when we get set for qualifying. What a big Saturday it is on Fox Sports 1. Our baseball coverage begins for 2015, a little doubleheader. The 2 games a little bit farther apart, though, I guess, so it's not totally a doubleheader. 12:30, Boston takes on New York, one of the best rivalries in all of sports when the Red Sox get the Yankees. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern time, this is a playoff rematch. Kansas City getting Anaheim. It's on Fox Sports 1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. The coverage begins Saturday, 12:30 Eastern time. We hope you will join us then.
I like a good baseball match, but in 1 minute, these cars are going to go out there and do what Kenny Wallace said, run down in these corners over 190 miles an hour. That makes the hair on my neck stand up.
But Mikey, who let the dogs out? Regan Smith?
It could be a long 90 minutes, actually.
Yes, it could be.
And I'll say it again, track position is important.
Look at this one. Look at the eyes. You don't think qualifying's nervy?
Is he focused or is he asleep? I'm not sure.
This is the only breathing he's going to do. That's Ty Dillon,
who comes in with a championship lead.
Sorry to interrupt you there, but that was a pretty cool moment right there. That's what drivers do, right, Mikey? They gather their thoughts.
You got to be ready and focused when you roll out on the track. The thing that's interesting, though, Adam, you can see drivers just loading into their car. Keselowski there. We've got this first session, and we can go 90%. We heard Eric Jones saying, I don't think I'll try to go wide open every round. If you've got a really fast car, you go out, put a lap in the books right off the bat, come in, let your tires cool, get ready for the next round.
Landon Castle, that red car on your right, going to be the first to pull onto the speedway. Right behind him, the 54 being driven this weekend by Denny Hamlin. Here we go with Xfinity qualifying from Texas.
NASCAR rules state that you have to stay underneath that white line until you get up on the back of turn 2, Mikey, so that halts your speed a little bit. We're used to jumping right up on the track back in the day.
Right. These guys have to stay on the apron. That's a bit tricky, too. You try to get your power down and up to speed on that flat apron. It can be a little hairy.
Fastest lap here yesterday by Austin Dillon. We talked to him earlier. The time for him, 29.527 seconds. That equates to over 182 miles per hour. So we'll keep an eye on the sheet here and see what kind of time they turn in. And I would say they'll go faster today based on one thing, and that is it is much cooler today than what it was for practice yesterday.
A bit overcast. Conditions are about perfect for these guys to go out and run a really fast lap. We've seen Landon Castle put down some good times this year. See if he can put something that will get him safely in the top 24. 30.20 for Castle compared to 29.64 for Hamlin. And our Daytona Xfinity winner, Reed, goes across the start-finish line. He slots in second so far.
Austin Dillon, 29.74. That's off what he ran here yesterday. Chris Buescher, the hometown kid, to the top, a 29.58.
Bubba Wallace replaces him at the top of the speed charts at a 29.44. Speeds are picking up, Adam.
Already quicker than what we saw in practice here yesterday.
All these drivers hoping to run one lap and make the top till they go to the next round. They don't want to put any more wear on their tires than they have to. And
you just shut her down and coast back like you see Ty Dillon doing here. Get those tires to start cooling so that you're ready to go for round 2. Dillon believes he's safely in, as I do too.
Mike Bliss, number 19.
350th start in the NASCAR Xfinity Series this weekend for Mike Bliss, and you see how he's clocking compared to the man that right now is quickest, Darrell Wallace Jr. Bliss's teammate Blake Cook also on track in the number 8 Toyota from TriStar Motorsports.
I told this man Mike Bliss today, I said, happy birthday, buddy. He says, stop that. I don't want anybody knowing I just turned 50 years old. I said, oh, well, then we won't say anything about that on Fox Sports 1 that you turned 50 years old, Mike.
Bliss just went to 8th on the board, his opening lap of qualifying. As you look at Brendan Gaughan, one of the hottest drivers in the series.
Talk about a guy that owned this track for a while. Didn't he win like 4 straight in the truck series? Wow, that's quite a record.
Gaughan goes to 6th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. quick in practice yesterday. 2nd for NASCAR's most popular driver, Daniel Suarez, rookie out of Mexico. 7th.
There's Chase Elliott, big win here a year ago. Having a decent season, guys, but not near the dominance that we thought we might see out of Chase, but it's early in the going.
New man, quickest in qualifying here at Texas, Brad Keselowski, a 29.380 seconds, puts him in front of Darrell Wallace Jr.
We've ramped her up to almost 184 miles an hour. Kenny, I wouldn't be surprised if these guys are bumping up around 195 getting down into the corners.
At least, Mikey, as the sun sets, you know, in the west, the shade is going to pick up down here in turn 1. I think that could make up for losing grip on the tires. So they're going to lose grip, but the track could speed up. As we watch Regan Smith go down into turn 1, I'll show you what we're talking about. You'll see shade right about there, and that will get better as we go on in qualifying.
And plus, if some of these guys like Keselowski are running 85, 90% on these laps, when they really wring out that car and hold the gas down with the shade, you could see some faster times in round 3.
You want a fast time? We're clocking Regan Smith, who is a 10th quicker off of turn 4 than Brad Keselowski. Regan Smith to the top of the scoring pylon, and maybe better yet, here comes Eric Jones. This is going to be a blistering lap for him. Eric Jones, 29.12. That was fast.
If Eric Jones was holding something back, it's going to be crazy in the last round, because that is a 29.12 and second is a 29.26. That is getting it done.
25 cars have now been out in the make it 26 in the opening round of qualifying. 24 will advance. Brandon Godovic, who's here to make his series debut, he's driving the 55, is currently the man on the bubble. Brennan Poole on the outside looking in as you take a look at J.J. Yaley.
JJ has done an incredible job in that car. John West Townley down into turn 3. Riding high, trying to get some speed up. He'll be coming to the green flag. That's why he's running high, I believe. That's definitely not the groove to be in, Mikey.
A little bit loose off. We do see guys try to keep their speed wound up by running that high side coming to the green, so that's not highly unusual. You want to tuck it right down to that white line on your money lap, though. You can see Townley's tracking inside the top 24 by a pretty healthy margin, so he should squeeze into the top 24 and be safe.
It's been a good track for John West in the Camping World Truck Series. Couple of top 10s here, racing with the tailgaters, and as you said, Michael, he's got a real good lap going here. Lost it a bit off of 4, but comfortably going to jump inside the top 24. He is 6th in the opening round, puts rookie Cale Conley on the bubble.
This is a driver, Ryan Sieg, in that 39, that has shocked a lot of people this year.
He's just been solid and fast everywhere we go, practice and qualifying well. It's fun to watch Sieg run.
Just complimenting his crew chief, Kevin Cowboy Starlin, about how well they've qualified. He said, I actually think we need to give a little bit up in qualifying so we can be better in the race. And right here, pretty good, comfortable spot for them. 14th is Ryan Sieg in the opening round of qualifying.
One thing I do like about Ryan Sieg, that team is accomplishing their goals because they now have promoted themselves. We know who he is. Now if they want to back off qualifying a little bit and work on racing better, we all know who Ryan Sieg is, much more because he's been qualifying so good all year long.
Harrison Rhodes, 21-year-old out of High Point, North Carolina.
Puts himself right on the bubble, Adam, and probably going to get bumped off the bubble pretty quickly. Still got some good cars that are challenging that top 24.
Stanton Barrett in the 15, second consecutive race we've seen him there. Drove it at California a few weeks ago.
You know, when you look to the right of your TV screen and you see the lineup, the one that stands out to me is in 6th place. John West Townley, that is a great qualifying run for that team.
One that stands out to me is down in 16th place. Austin Dillon was the fastest man in Texas yesterday, the fastest man on the 1.5 miles in Vegas when we ran, and here in 16th, I think that's an indication that he gave it about 80% during that first run, trying to save a little bit on his tires so he'd be ready for the next 2, but it's got him in a bit of a bind here. Will it be good enough to transfer through?
Right behind him, his teammate Brian Scott, 17th, who started on the front row on 3 different occasions this year. When's the last time we talked about the balance of patience and aggression in qualifying? Right now, the fastest man is Eric Jones. 12 minutes to go in round 1. Halfway through the opening round of qualifying for the NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Texas Motor Speedway. Happy to have you with us on Fox Sports 1. It's Fast Friday, presented by K&N. Saw a shot there of the captain, Roger Penske, talking things over with Brad Keselowski, the fastest Ford right now. He is 3rd as we take a look at the 4 car of Ross Chastain.
Ross will be trying to bump off Harrison Rhodes of the bump bubble. I talked before we went to break that he would probably be bounced off there quickly, but he's hung in.
Harrison Rhodes, his teammate, is 24th. His other teammate, Landon Castle, 25th right now in the first round of qualifying here at Texas, and this lap looking pretty good.
Chastain is going to bump solidly into the top 24. It's going to put...
Oh, we got boys. Perfect balance.
That's a good feeling, isn't it, Kenny? The driver reports to the team, I couldn't do anything else. It was balanced perfectly, and I left it on the mat. And the result of that is a 16th place position so far in round 1.
You know, we've talked about that throughout one's career. You're like, man, my car feels good. They're just driving away. And what I say about that is if your car feels good and they're driving away, then you just need to wait for the race. And hopefully that when everybody's tires wear out, that, you know, you end up being as good as them. Sometimes, Mikey, you know, cars are not all created equal.
Right.
You know, so hopefully, you know, they meet somewhere in the middle during a race. Some cars qualify quicker than others.
Well, what you try to do if you're Ross Chastain, you understand that some of those cars near the front of the speed charts have you out budgeted. You know, they got more money for wind tunnel, maybe better engine programs. Who knows what the differences are, but money does buy speed, especially in this series. You see a big discrepancy from the front to the back. So what you try to do is beat everybody you're supposed to. You know, if you go out there and you're Ross Chastain, you qualify 16th in this first round, you got to be pretty pleased with that advancing to round 2.
How rare is this? Roger Penske at a racetrack one day before the Sprint Cup race. This tells me a lot, how much he cares about his Xfinity program.
Hey, they've won the Owners' Championship here the last couple of years. I think he enjoys sitting on that stage in late November and getting that big trophy, huh?
Yeah, down in Florida a couple weeks ago for the sports car races. You got Joe Gibbs down on pit road. Joe's been in and out of the garage all day today.
You know, Mikey, I think this lends to this new situation we have going on where the Xfinity cars, the rules are close to the Cup cars. I think that these car owners realize that this is good for the Cup Series also. They're learning something from this series.
What can you tell us, Chris?
Well, it's a race weekend, and Roger Penske's got to be at a racetrack on a race weekend. I was just chatting with him, and he said he was up working in Detroit earlier this morning. Decided to hop down here because he wanted to see some of their race partners over at Shell. And then depending on the weather tomorrow, he said, well, it's either I'm going to be here, or if it's not raining, maybe I'll head over to New Orleans and see the IndyCar race. So he's a bit up in the air about that, but he's just happy to be at the racetrack right now.
Well, not a bad start to 2015 when you talk about Indy cars and the captain. 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 5th. When you take 4 of the top 5, including the top 2, that's a pretty decent start to the season, I would say.
You know, when I look at Roger Penske, I say he is the #1 most well-rounded, accomplished car owner in the history of American auto racing. And here's why I say that. Yes, Rick Hendrick is probably the king of NASCAR, but IndyCar championships, Indy 500, Xfinity Series, Cup Series, Daytona 500. Who has done more than him?
You talk about this 22 team, and they have been incredible, dating back the last couple of years, as we talked about, in their ability to find their way to victory lane and win championships. But you look at this, 25 consecutive top 10 finishes with 5 different drivers. A lot of credit goes to Greg Irwin, who's the crew chief now, and Jeremy Bolins, who called the shots a year ago. Only car to finish in the top 10 in every race so far in 2015. That's with 3 different drivers, I might add, including that win at Phoenix.
And how fun was that 22 car at the end of the race in Vegas? We talked about Austin Dillon dominance during that event. Ryan Blaney was on him and was coming to the inside with the white flag flying. They made some contact. Blaney lost his momentum, gave it all he had, hit the wall coming off turn 4, lost by a couple of car lengths. I love that race. Ryan Blaney, a great young driver when it comes to the NASCAR Xfinity Series, now the Sprint Cup Series. Kind of like Bubba Wallace now in the Ford camp, Vince.
Currently sitting 4th on the chart. Pretty solid first lap, but I thought it was interesting, your radio communication afterward. That lap got your attention, didn't it? What happened there?
Yeah, we were really on the free side, but I think the exciting thing is we have some speed, and I'm happy with that. So been happy the whole weekend. Texas is a place where you get pumped up about, but what's really special is having Advocare on our Ford Mustang. So huge shout out to them, and thanks for making this weekend happen. Teammate cars, Trevor and I. So it's been fun so far. We've shown some speed in practice and qualified right now Ford. So got 2 more rounds to see what we got, but I have a really good feeling about this weekend.
He's got some truck experience here at Texas, but it's his first Xfinity Series start here.
Yeah, Vince, he got his heart broke here in November. Probably going to have a chance to win the race, stay in the championship hunt. Had an engine expire. He should be a player here tonight as we look at Cale Conley.
He was coming off turn 4 with some time in the bank.
He had it.
Got loose and lost it.
I know this might shock a lot of people. There was a lot of lapse in time there, but as you see right here, there's still 4 minutes left.
You want to know how minor of a bobble can cost you a spot in the top 24? We've got about a 1/10 of a second in the bank right here with Cale Conley. Look, just wiggles a bit off turn 4, and when he does, the clock just went the wrong direction for him.
And nowadays, loose is not fast. What's fast now is perfectly free. If the car gets sideways, that means it slows down because the car's seeing too much air.
And Adam, this car of Brennan Poole, he's been an interesting story for us to follow in 2015. He turns 24 years old tomorrow, so we'll wish him a happy birthday a day early. But he's constantly gotten better and better with every lap he makes on the racetrack. Starts off slow, gains on it. Today, I think, it's a little bit extreme. He's down in 31st right now after his first run, trying to knock his way into the top 24.
He approached that corner differently than I have. I always drive down until I'm scared and lift up a little bit. He let up real early. Let's listen. Up real early. Now back in it. He's very nervous with the throttle, Mikey.
Yeah, but he's got some time in the bank, Kenny. He's going to be able to
stay there after 3 and 4.
Stopwatch, good indication. Brennan Poole goes from 31st to 19th, putting Elliott Sadler on the bubble.
This can't be part of Elliott Sadler's plan. I think that's another example of a guy that didn't go 100% in round 1 on his first lap on the track, trying to save a little bit on his tires. But as the clock ticks down, only 2.5 minutes to go, 2:40, Elliott Sadler finds himself sitting precariously on the bubble. Mario Goslin down in the 34th spot after his first run. See if he can pick up some speed.
You know, that was a perfect example of Brennan Poole. People say, oh, you got to be wide open. Well, you know what? We got in-car cameras and we got great sound system. You're not wide open and you're still inside the top 20.
Poole going to be in that 42 car the next 5 weeks. Ran top 10 at Las Vegas, led laps at Phoenix in his second career start, and comes here this weekend with a lot of optimism. Watching Goslin on track, and just below him on our tracker, you can see Dakota Armstrong is back out. He was on the bubble, got bumped out when we had that run by Brennan Poole, but right now Armstrong looking good, 2/10 to the good as he heads over to turns 3 and 4.
He's got that Carina Ford barking.
At the line, he goes to 19th. Mike Bliss on the bubble. Elliott Sadler, first car on the outside looking in. 90 seconds to go in the opening round of qualifying.
He'll have to crank up and leave pit road, and that's exactly what Sadler's doing.
A minute 22 to go. Top right-hand corner of your TV is the countdown
On the
clock.
racetrack, you got plenty of time. You got a minute 10.
That's his spotter,
Your
Brett.
blend line off 2, all clear when you get there.
Brett Griffin telling Elliott, don't sweat it. We're going to make it around here to take the green and make one more lap so he can try to cut his way back into the top 24. What's Hamlin doing down there?
Well, he's down here watching time and scoring right now. Denny Hamlin in the top 10. And obviously, we're going to see a very different racetrack tonight. Right now, that track's 100 degrees. It's going to cool off tonight. So how important is it to qualify up front?
It's important. I mean, passing is difficult nowadays in any series you're in, but the Xfinity series, you really got to, these guys they're tough to beat, and so you got to qualify as well as you can, and obviously a good qualifying effort would also help with your pit selection. So that's our main goal, is try to get ourselves a top 5 starting spot.
Yeah, and let's see if Elliott Sadler can try and push above that cutoff line.
No problems getting by the start-finish line before time expired for Elliott Sadler. You heard him coaching him through that, and when you look at the clock, he's doing a nice job right now in the green. Mike Bliss, who's on the bubble, outrunning an insurance lap. We'll keep an eye on both these drivers as we wrap up round 1 of qualifying.
Bliss is going to need that insurance lap.
Sadler goes to 10th. No problems for him.
P10.
And Bliss, who had dropped outside the top 24, jumps back in, bumping his teammate Blake Cook.
P22.
8's still on it. He's inside the top 24. This is intense. These guys have seen 3 or 4 guys bumped off the bubble at the end. Can he hang in there?
He was in the green, went to red, tracking back some drama in
Would
the
you look
final
at this?
seconds of
Is
the
he
opening
gonna
round
do
of
it?
qualifying. Blake Cook to 21st. How about that?
My, what a show.
Jeremy Clements
You go
just misses out.
29.80. That's 2/10 faster.
Yes, it is. Blake Cook brought me a T-shirt.
That's a
Did we
great
make it
effort.
Blake Cook made it past the start-finish line.
Picked up.
He was within the time.
Eric Jones, the quickest in the opening round. Some drama late in the going in the first session of qualifying here at Texas. Back live at Texas Motor Speedway. It's Fast Friday on Fox Sports 1, presented by K&N. The first 20 minutes of qualifying, that equals 1 round, are done. For the NASCAR Xfinity Series, Eric Jones was the quickest. And the first of those 24 drivers that will move on to round 2. Regan Smith, quick in practice yesterday, inside the top 5, as was Brad Keselowski, the king of the mile-and-a-halfs. What about Darrell Wallace Jr.? Fast yesterday, fast again today.
He says fast is loose. He was sideways, but he locked her into the top 24 and ready for round 2. Vince, what's happening on pit road, buddy?
Well, you know, you guys said it seems like every week we're talking about Ryan Sieg, something positive coming from Ryan in this 39 team, and qualified 15th in the first round. What were your thoughts on that?
It was pretty good. The car was a little free in on that first run there, but all in all, the Placer Chevrolet was pretty good. We got to handle them better in the second practice, which carried over here to qualifying, and we should be able to pick it up a little bit more in the second round.
Yeah, they're doing a lot with a little. Another nice job from Ryan Sieg.
Outstanding job, Vince. And here are the drivers that did not move on. 40 cars here this weekend. Everyone makes the field, and the number you see beside them here, where they will start later tonight. Heartbreak break for Jeremy Clements, who was on the bubble, looked like he was going to get in, and Blake Cook nipped him at the wire.
There was a lot of nipping at the wire. That 24th position changed hands 3 or 4 times late. Mike Harmon didn't get out on the track in his number 74 Dodge.
Saw Brandon Godovic there, qualifying for an Xfinity race for the first time in his career. He will start 29th later this evening. We'll step aside. Round 2 qualifying on the way from Texas. First, we send it to Los Angeles. Jill Arrington hanging at the Fox Sports News desk. Out on pit road for Xfinity Series qualifying, we saw the captain Roger Penske, the coach Joe Gibbs. How about the 4-time champion Jeff Gordon? Why is he there? He's taking notes, right, for tonight's race. Going to be on the broadcast with Michael and I. It's the 6th race of the year for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, the Texas 300, sponsored by Can-Am. You can watch it here on Fox Sports 1. Our coverage begins 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Then tomorrow night on Fox, all about NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
Oh, and I love the Sprint Cup race from here in Texas. It's bigger, it's better, it's faster. There's going to be 100,000 people here cheering the drivers on. But tonight, we get to hang with the 4-time champ. That's big. I'm looking forward to Jeff being in the booth with us.
And perhaps we could get a first-time winner. Maybe it's Eric Jones, who was quickest in the opening round of qualifying. Our K&N driver profile, so far so good when it comes to Xfinity Series competition.
He's an amazing talent. People have him penciled in to win soon in the Xfinity Series and win often here and move on up to Cup probably sooner again rather than later.
You know, 15, 20 years ago, if you started racing at, say, 16 years old, that was good enough. Now they're starting them at about 4 to 5 years old, and Eric Jones is a great example of that.
Do we see that same mad rush? Yes, we do. These guys want to get out, bust off a lap.
It's like a horse race.
Denny Hamlin leads them off pit road. We talked to Hamlin a little bit ago, and he said that passing is difficult, track position is important, evidenced by the fact the last 9 events here have been won from inside the top 10 starting spot. And both races last year were won here from the 6th starting spot.
Fastest time in practice yesterday, a 29:52. Fastest lap in the opening round of qualifying, a 29:12. So we were 4/10 quicker in qualifying so far today than we were yesterday.
Look at that line Hamlin's taking. We talked about keeping the engine wound up. He ran around the high side of 3 and 4, trying to make sure he comes to the line there with all the speed he possibly can.
For me, this is when we talked about nerve and commitment. They're going to start ramping it up now, meaning they're going to hold that throttle down a little bit more than normal.
It may be all the way down.
It may be all the way down. Some cars can do it, some can't.
A couple of cars I want to look at. The 33 of Austin Dillon, the 2 of Brian Scott. We feel like they should have speed based on practice yesterday. What we've seen so far this season, they weren't high on the speed charts. Perhaps they were saving up. The time to beat early, going to be 29:45. That's what Denny Hamlin put on the board.
And that's stout compared to some of the guys that have come across the start-finish line. But then Brad Keselowski, 29:30.
Chris Buescher jumps up to 3rd. Second now is Austin Dillon. There's what we talked about for Austin, 29:37. Eric Jones to the top.
Just like in session 1, he's fastest. This is another guy we thought would have speed, and that was Brian Scott. He's up to the 3rd spot. Jones is the fastest. But Adam, we're seeing it a little bit slower, fastest time, a 1/2 of a tenth of a second slower, or excuse me, a tenth slower was Eric Jones in round 2 here.
Top 5, Eric Jones, Brad Keselowski, Brian Scott, Austin Dillon, Darrell Wallace Jr., and here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr.
If we were worried about Brian Scott and Austin Dillon's speed after round 1, we worry no longer.
You know, talking to Dale Jr. yesterday during practice, he was as focused as I've ever seen him in his Xfinity program. Driving that car, he was really putting a lot of effort into it. There are times in the past I've seen him go over, get in the car, and go, yeah, we're okay. But he was there from the time it started till the time it ended. I just seen a lot more effort put in this time.
Lap for Junior puts him at 6th. Eyeing Brendan Gaughan now.
Gaughan's a bit off the pace of the fastest driver, Jones. Track can be a little bit less than a 1/2 a second behind.
He's 9th of the 13 drivers that have been on track. Daniel Suarez jumps up to 3rd. Some speed for those Joe Gibbs Toyotas.
Yeah, we talked about how Brennan Poole just consistently gets better and better. We see the same thing from Daniel Suarez. He improves with every lap he makes on the racetrack.
See Regan Smith here. He was 9th.
Inside the top 10. A lot of speed out of that car yesterday. Comes John West Townley. He was in the top 10 in round 1. See what he can do here in round 2.
You know, going back to your hero, Daniel Suarez, he's one of those drivers that everybody found in Mexico and said, he's really good. Let's put him over here in the United States and start him out and get him a lot of laps, whether it's with the Truck Series, K&N, and now Xfinity. They're doing it right, Mikey. They're not, you know, they're just getting him up to speed. You know what I mean?
Well, I love what I'm seeing from Suarez, Poole, the young drivers that have come into the series and are taking advantage of opportunities. You know, you don't get a chance to come run the Xfinity Series or the Truck Series. Everybody doesn't get that chance. I thought he was going to get sideways off. That corner really tightens up off turn 2. And JWT was on the gas and a bit sideways, but he held on to it.
I knew something was happening when you went to that octave.
Well, I've been off that turn before in that position when you're not quite dead on the bottom of the racetrack and you run out of room so easily, you get into that outside wall.
He was in the green, ends up 14th, talking about John West Townley. Brendan Gaughan is 12th right now, would be the last guy to advance if this round ended right now. We're about halfway through round 2 as we look at Blake Cook.
Blake Cook's had some famous friends on his crew. Didn't Mark Wahlberg hang out with him?
Yeah, in California.
And then Flo Rida down in Daytona. Who's this cat? Who else is cat know? Oh, we're a little wide again off turn 2. Yeah, he had to abort. That's exactly what I was talking about, Adam. You just lose the front end a bit there, exiting turn 2. It can wash up into that
real
wall.
tight.
And once he had to let out of the gas, he knew better. Got real tight, and then once he had to let out of the gas, he knew that lap was done. Why keep going? Come in, try to get it fixed with 4 minutes and 55 seconds left, and try to do it again.
Dakota Armstrong, another driver that had to work really hard to advance from round 1 to round 2, out making his first lap in this second round, just over 4 minutes remaining, and he's tracking in the red to try and jump inside the top 12 and knock Brendan Gaughan out. And this lap not going to be good enough to advance.
Hey, and that's a good-looking car. That car with Ross Perrine on it from St. Louis, Missouri, that looks like it belongs on that car. It's good.
First time we've seen them as a sponsor this weekend for Dakota.
How about Brendan? He grew up just down the road in the Woodlands, Texas.
Spent a lot of time racing here, but never on the big track, on the dirt track and the short track off the back straightaway, and right now Brennan is in the red.
Hey, listen to this throttle. Okay, so what he's doing now, Mikey, is instead of letting all the way out, he's letting up 90%. He's keeping the butterflies open on that carburetor instead of letting all the way off.
Yeah, and we saw Kenny down in turn 1. He had a big bobble. That cost him basically that half a second that he missed the top 12 by, because in 3 and 4, we heard him go in really deep, barely roll off the gas, make it through there, and the time that he was losing really stabilized. So if he doesn't have that slip in 1 and 2, he could be a part of the top 12.
You know, and that's one thing that you do in these Xfinity cars. You run wide open, and you say, if I cannot make it wide open, Adam, what you do is you start letting off half, 75%, but never come all the way out. And that's what drivers try to do later when the tires get wore out.
Ross Chastain had to made a nice run in round 1, waited a while here in round 2 to take to the track, making sure those tires were plenty cool and tracking right on top of Brendan Gaughan.
And I got to tell you, even if he's not able to jump into the top 12, the lap that he's putting together right here probably put him inside the top 15. That would be a great qualifying effort for this team.
Yeah, he just lost a little bit off turn 4 there.
19th. 22 of 24 drivers that advanced have been out here in the second round. And Elliott Sadler, who of course had to go out, run a second lap in the opening round, going out late here probably because he wanted to get everything cooled down as much as he could before he made an attempt, and also see Ryan Sieg on track.
It's a good-looking Camaro Ryan's driving there. Nice paint scheme. Fast car for that young man.
You know, you talk about cooling the motor down and the tires. That's big in NASCAR, getting the motor down to hardly any temperature. You know, it's funny, you say, I want the oil warm, but no heat in the motor. And that's exactly right. You want the oil warm and you want the motor cool. And that's what makes horsepower. So if you keep running the motor when the water's warm, it takes speed away. So Elliott Sadler doing it right.
Look at how close those two racers are to Brendan Gaughan.
Elliott Sadler in the green early in his lap. He's midway down the back straightaway. We watch Ryan Sieg coming off of turn 4. Might improve his starting position, but not going to get in the top 12. He goes from 20th to 18th. Oh. And here comes Elliott Sadler. Just slid to the red. Can he get it back?
Wow, we've seen everybody just 13th position, one spot away. We've seen everybody just lose a little bit of momentum off turn 4, and it cost him a chance at the top 5. This will be interesting. Point leader, can he do it?
Ty Dillon 16th right now.
Oh, I love this. Never all the way out of the throttle.
Let's listen to him down in 3 and 4. This makes me want to be a driver again. Listen.
Up about 50%, Mikey.
Oh, but it didn't stick, Kenny. You heard him go back at it.
Yeah, might have drugged some brake even. You never know.
Not the run he's looking for sure.
Yeah, you can hear the sound in the motor, fans. You know, when that motor bogs down.
Look at Sam Hornish Jr., 3 wins here in IndyCar competition. Pretty good resume in both the Xfinity and Sprint Cup Series when it comes to Texas Motor Speedway. 17th right now, driving the 98 for the Biaggi brothers.
I have to tell you, I'm having the time of my life up here inside. Those in-car cameras, I mean, that is some awesome stuff because you can tell you how close it is. And what's silly is your ankle in your right foot has to be strong.
Yeah, his needs to be strong.
Just about to wrap it up here in the second round of qualifying. A look at John West Townley, who was in the green, but then as soon as he got down the back straightaway,
it went away
to red.
What do you think it's like to be Sam Hornish here, Adam? 230 in IndyCar. What's 180 feel like in a NASCAR race car?
Feels like he's riding a bicycle around this place. So that's going to do it for the second round of qualifying here at Texas. Just like round 1, Eric Jones at the top of the chart, and the man who just missed out, Elliott Sadler, by 19 one-thousandths of a second behind Brendan Gaughan, who was on the bubble for an eternity, but the Las Vegas driver going to have a chance to run for the pole next. Next Saturday, UFC Fight Night on Fox returns with a middleweight doubleheader. Former light heavyweight champion Lyoto Machida. You know, they call him the Dragon.
Yes,
he is taking on Luke Rockhold. It's going to be a good one. That's next Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern on Fox. We're streaming live at Fox Sports Go. Let's go to Chris Neville.
Well, Ty Dillon's going to roll off 16th tonight. And Ty, I'm sure you probably wanted to start a little further up, but the one thing you can lean on is you've raced well all year long. What are we going to see tonight?
Hopefully it's the same what we've done all year. Qualifying just hasn't been our deal this year for whatever reason, and but I do think we have something, this VF Imageware Chevy, and I think we're going to have a good shot at it tonight. I love this racetrack and feel like we've made a lot of gains since yesterday in practice. We struggled a little bit in the second practice, but the car was close. I think I was just a little too tight on entry and couldn't hold it wide open like a lot of these guys. So I think when the track cools down, gains some front grip, our Chevy will go right to the front.
Well, Ty Dillon's won here in trucks. We'll see if he can get a win here tonight in Xfinity.
And here's a good stat for Ty Dillon. He hasn't started in the top 10 all season long, but he's the championship leader. He's finished in the top 10 on 4 different occasions. Here are the dozen drivers that have moved on to run for the pole.
I think Austin Dillon is still saving his car. What about you, Mikey?
He's right there. As is Brian Scott. It'll be interesting to see if they can take that Gibbs Toyota off the pole.
Let's send it down to Vince.
Well, the man just outside that top 12 is Elliott Sadler in 13th. They've raced well. The race results have gotten better each and every time out, but qualifying's been I know, a little bit frustrating for you. What'd you have here today?
We actually got a left rear tire issue. The interliner spun on the rim, and we can't measure our tire pressure. So we were guessing that some of the changing and stuff we were doing, that kind of put us behind. And our one-man financial Ford Mustang was actually good yesterday in practice. It was fast. So this is a little disappointing to qualify 13th, but look, you can pass and race like crazy here in Texas. We got a really good car from yesterday, and we're looking forward to the race tonight.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Thanks, Alec.
Elliott Sadler has missed the final round 3 times in 2015 now, doing so at the 3.5-mile tracks, missing out today by 19 one-thousandths of a second. And back there in row 7, he's going to have his teammate Ryan Reed with him. See Ty Dillon.
Dakota Armstrong's got a fast car this weekend. There's our man Jeff Gordon.
No pen and paper. He's got to be taking notes, right?
What do you think that kid? What do you think Brennan Poole's thinking?
Wow. I'm guessing the conversation here a little more sophisticated when you and I communicate in the TV compound, Michael. You think that or no?
You mean high fives and fist bumps? I don't see that going on right now. Do you?
I don't know what's going on, but this is definitely different than the past. These are some major car owners out here for this Xfinity race tonight.
I'm going to get me a vest.
Me too.
Then you're going to start talking to me differently, Adam.
I'll say this, these two have given and given and given some more to the sport of NASCAR, and we thank them for that. And we look at the drivers that move on to round 3 of qualifying and how many laps that they've turned combined in the first 2 rounds. A level playing field. Everybody 3 laps so far.
And in about 10 seconds, it's going to be another horse race. They're going to come out of these stalls And I'm thinking Austin Dillon.
Well, are they going to steam out of there, or are they going to take their time a little bit? Because every minute that clicks off, you're going to only have one run at this pole, I think. And every minute that clicks off the clock, I know they only got 5 of them on there, but the shade down in turns 1 and 2 is going to get longer and longer, and that's just going to be an advantage. So I don't think going out first in this session is necessarily as important as it had been.
Mikey, I say we've got 200 to 300 foot of the track way cooler in turn 1 and 2 right now.
You could see it there as Denny Hamlin drove through the shade off turn 2. He's going to need to get that car wound up and watch him run high through 3 and 4 so he can come to the green with all the momentum he can get.
Here we go. See all this? That was not like that at the start of qualifying. So that's why the track should be faster. That is a big deal.
Here comes Hamlin. And my man Daniel Suarez. Could he get his first pole ever in the Gibbs Toyota?
Coming off his first top 10 finish out at Auto Club Speedway a few weeks ago.
Man, that's a pretty line Denny held there. Held it out, entering the corner right on the bottom of the racetrack. You could see plenty of room exiting turn 2. That means the front end didn't slide out.
Car just looks smooth.
Denny's a smooth driver. You know, seriously. You don't see Denny Hamlin out of shape in his whole driving career.
A couple of Sprint Cup wins here for Denny Hamlin. Joe Gibbs has won here 7 times, all for Kyle Busch. The time he puts up 29.486. Suarez jumps in front of him, a 29.27.
Love that.
That is fast.
That's faster than he was able to run in sessions 1 or 2. That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Regan Smith up to second fastest.
And do you know, I put my reputation on the line. I'm thinking that Austin Dillon is saving something. I wonder how wrong I'm going to be.
No, I don't think that's a good prediction, but there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to take a swipe at Suarez's time, including the 22 of Brad Kay.
Boy, they're nervy, aren't they, Mikey? Look at this right here.
Well,
I mean, when I hear 2 minutes, I'm like, that's all we got left?
Well, we saw Elliott Sadler with less than a minute to go get off pit road and safely make it back to the start-finish line. So they've done their math. Look how high he's running, trying to keep his momentum up, coming to the green flag. That's a great shot of Keselowski trying to really wind up that engine and come to the start-finish line with as much momentum as he possibly can. Now watch him just cut it to the bottom here in turns 1 and 2.
Man, he can drive, Mikey. That Brad Keselowski can drive a race car.
That just tells you how impressive that run by young Daniel Suarez was. He's only run these big tracks a couple of times.
Just in that corner, perfect. Not sideways, not pushing.
Tracker in the green for Keselowski.
Oh, but it's going to be close.
He lost some there.
Goes to the top of the board. Brad Keselowski in front of Daniel Suarez. Here comes Brian Scott. 3 front row starts this season for him. He slots in 4th of the 5 drivers that have been out. And the next driver that will come across, Dale Earnhardt Jr. had a fast car here on the long run yesterday in practice. We'll see what he does in the 88.
What about Eric Jones coming to the line?
Can he go 3 for 3? Fast in the first 2 rounds. Eric Jones to the top, a 29.16.
That is fast.
Looking for his 2nd consecutive pole in the Xfinity Series.
So our quickest time of the whole qualifying session was a 29.12, I believe.
Yep, opening round.
And so he has run a 29.16 on now old tires. That's getting it done.
Chase Elliott right there in the top 5 right now. You can see gains a little bit of time off turn 2. See how that Hendrick horsepower goes down the back straightaway. Stable against the Ford of Keselowski and Eric Jones in the Toyota. Got a lot of parity here in the
We do. Look at those.
Xfinity Series.
Look at the zeros. That's how close it is. Everybody's almost tying.
Chase Elliott goes to 7th.
Here's your man, Kenny.
Yep, this is who we predict to be on the pole only because he was the fastest in everything yesterday. Here we go, Mikey.
It got wobbly getting into turn 3, just a little bit loose on entry, and it cost him. He never could cut all the way to the bottom of the track. The thing was a little bit loose on entry.
I was
Pretty
wrong.
good lap, though. 3rd.
I was wrong. You can tweet me now and tell me how wrong I was. He's 3rd.
Chris Buescher.
Does that pay anything in Vegas? Top 3?
I don't know. I'm not good at that town.
Chris Buescher, new colors this weekend for the kid that grew up in Prosper, Texas, just 40 miles up the road.
He's used to sitting in the grandstands here at Texas Motor Speedway. His family are season ticket holders. He's got a different seat tomorrow night.
A good one.
The red and black flags are out, but both the teammates from Roush Fenway that advanced to round 3 have gotten by the start-finish line, and these laps will count as their lap in the final round of qualifying. And neither one in the green, so they will not challenge Eric Jones for the pole. But where will they start later tonight? Chris Buescher goes to 9th. Bubba Wallace 8th, so they will start one in front of the other when we go green for 300 miles later this evening. Time has expired. On the pole, winning all 3 sessions, the young kid out of Michigan, Eric Jones.
How about before the qualifying session started, he said, we're probably going to save a little bit in session 1. He went out and ran the fastest lap of anyone in session 1 and backs it up by getting the pole.
This is me clapping.
That's a great job of that young man.
A couple of weeks off didn't hurt him at all. Pole at Auto Club Speedway, finished 3rd. He's going to lead him to the green again here tonight. 3rd driver to win 2 poles this season. After a couple of weeks off, the NASCAR Xfinity Series is back tonight. 300 miles in Texas, 6th race of the year, and here is what the front row will look like. Eric Jones on the pole for the first time in his career here at Texas. Chris?
Yeah, an 18-year-old Eric Jones, 2nd career pole, and right in a row here, back-to-back from California. And you said you were going to leave something on the table in this qualifying session, but you were quickest in all 3 rounds.
Yeah, it's man, I don't know, it just worked out. I had a fast game stop camera. I really didn't know we'd be that fast. The same kind of thing happened in California. I guess once we tape up and really get it going, it seems like it just hooks up and goes. And man, it's a good feeling 2 weeks in a row. So hopefully we can keep speeding in the race. That's really pretty surreal. So I'm just really proud of these guys. We put a lot of work in the off season and even the beginning of this season to get our mile-and-a-half program better, and it's really starting to pay off. So just happy to see this Mortal Kombat X car on the pole, and man, I'm pretty excited about the race now.
Eric Jones, starting up front tonight.
And now our Can-Am ride of the day, Chris, and it's all about Eric Jones and that fast lap he put down in the final round of qualifying.
Yeah, just look at this car. He dives right to the bottom of the track, and Adam, you can see the left front corner of the nose is close to that white line. The left rear's away from him a bit. You saw him wiggling off turn 4. That car was a handful. It was a bit loose, kept his foot in it, and grabbed the pole.
He made his mile-and-a-half debut in NASCAR here last June in the Camping World Truck Series. I'd say so far so good when it comes to success here at Texas. Let's go back down to Chris.
Well, Brad Keselowski going to start up on that front row right next to 18-year-old Eric Jones. And Brad, you know, we're going to have some changing conditions tonight. It's pretty warm out here right now. It's going to cool off. How's that going to change the track?
Well, you know, when you got a fast car, it's usually fast no matter what the weather conditions are. And the discount tire Ford Mustang here is pretty fast. So Eric, he's been on a blistering pace in these qualifying runs. They've really got it figured out. So he's going to be a challenge. But I thought the 88 car was really good as well with Dale Jr. And obviously they won California the last race we had. So, you know, a fast car is going to be fast. I think we've got a good one, and we've won here before. I'd like to win here again.
Saw Roger down here. He made a comment about the beard. What do you have to say?
Oh, he loves it.
Vince?
Yeah, I bet. We heard from Eric Jones. He's on pole. His teammate Daniel Suarez qualified 4th. His first time ever around this racetrack was yesterday in practice when he came here for the Xfinity Series. So qualifying 4th, I got to believe you're pleased. How was it?
It was good. Very happy with the car. All these guys from Jogi Racing, Harris, they're doing an amazing job. To be honest, I don't know exactly from where, but we gained a lot of speed from yesterday to today. So really looking forward for tonight's race. Hopefully everything keeps ourselves in the same way.
Yeah, impressive run so far. Great start to the weekend for Daniel Suarez.
No question, Daniel Suarez just seems to get better and better as his rookie season continues, and a great qualifying effort today. He'll start inside the top 5 later tonight in Texas. History of Texas Motor Speedway when it comes to the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 18-year-old Eric Jones. And now 3 things you need to know about the young kid from Michigan. It's his 2nd consecutive Xfinity Series pole. Also got it done a few weeks ago at Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. Fastest in all 3 rounds today. The model of consistency, and it's the 4th consecutive Xfinity Series top 3 start He's not just good when it comes to qualifying. I would expect he'll be a guy we talk a lot about tonight in the race.
I just love this kid. What an amazing talent. He's showing up and doing things that we have never seen kids do before. But that's the era we're living in right now. Remember Cole Custer up at Loudon last year? Wow, what a dominating performance by a 16-year-old. There's a lot of young, fresh talent in this series, and I love it.
Among them, Brian Scott, Vince.
Brian Scott finishes up 7th today in qualifying on the heels of qualifying and what you've done in practice yesterday. What's your anticipation of how things are going to go tonight for you guys?
I'm excited. I think our Albertsons Reserve Chevrolet is going to race really good. We had a eventful practice, not the type of practice that you like to have, but it's the type that makes you better as a team. The guys had to work hard. We had to overcome an issue early, and this old Texas Motor Speedway made it tough on us. It made it tough for us to get the handling that we want, but we fought hard and we got it there right at the end where I feel good about how it's going to race, and I'm excited to race under the lights here tonight.
Yeah, this 2 team always seems to be knocking on the door. We'll see if they can get through it today.
Yeah, we talk about drivers in line for a potential first career victory. I think Eric Jones would fit that category. Certainly Brian Scott, who had a good qualifying run, going to start in the 7th position tonight and has had a nice steady climb in the points when you consider some of the adversities that team has faced this year. And speaking of first career victories, last year in this race, it was Chase Elliott that got it done. Perhaps a little advice from the guy he'll replace next year in the Sprint Cup Series here. What do you make of this, Kenny?
What I really like about this is they're communicating, and Jeff is happy that Chase Elliott is taking his ride next year. You know, sometimes there is dissension, but isn't this beautiful? And right here, Mikey, they're talking about the shade getting into turn 1. We were eavesdropping.
Yeah.
They're talking about the shade in the nighttime coming.
What I like about this is Jeff could be doing a couple of things. He might be coaching Chase Elliott, talking to him about the changing conditions. Chase won here last year, but you always like to get advice from the 4-time champion. Or is he just doing a little studying down on pit road and making sure he's perfectly prepared for his debut tonight on Fox Sports 1?
So what was said? Let's go to Vince.
Chase Elliott won this race a year ago, qualifies 9th for this evening's showdown. And we saw your conversation with Jeff Gordon there. Was that just general conversation or some advice on how to attack it tonight?
He was asking me more questions for the broadcast tonight, so I think he's trying to get a little insight to know what to say later. So he doesn't need our help to know what to say, but I'm excited for tonight's race. I feel like we got our Napa Chevy better throughout practice, and I made a couple adjustments there in qualifying that I thought got the thing driving better. Didn't go as fast as we wanted to, obviously, so hopefully we have a good race car and we can make it work from 9th.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing the race tonight with Chase Elliott. And, of course, Jeff Gordon will be in the booth with us tonight. Looking forward to Jeff's role in the broadcast.
Yeah, we look forward to that, Vince. And, you know, Jeff, full court press on getting ready. He was at our production meeting this morning. We saw him down on the pit lane, and we look forward to hearing what he has to say tonight. We'll see you at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's when race day gets our coverage kicked off live from Texas here on Fox Sports 1. It's the Texas 300 presented by Can-Am. So qualifying is complete. Eric Jones, Brad Keselowski, Austin Dillon, Daniel Suarez, Dale Earnhardt Jr., the top 5 in the qualifying session today here at Texas. Qualifying is complete in Texas. And you look at the drivers that have found their way to victory lane here. Top right, Dale Earnhardt Jr., 1998. Why was it such a special victory for him? Well, it happened to be the first of his career.
What a tricky, tough Texas racetrack this was back in the 90s, and Dale Jr. pulling into victory lane and getting the best hug of his life, I bet.
Also got his first career Sprint Cup Series victory, April 2000, right here at Texas Motor Speedway.
As a rookie. The only rookie to ever win here in the Sprint Cup Series at Texas.
And tonight he'll be looking for his first win as a driver in the Xfinity Series for Junior Motorsports. Never won driving his own equipment. He starts 5th tonight.
And he's leading the Junior Motorsports Brigade. I'm not saying it's a first. I'm not saying it's a first, but that's a big deal. I know he's serious about this race tonight.
Great run for Darrell Wallace Jr. Bubba up inside the top 10. Watch for Brian Scott. I made a friendly wager with my friend Denny Hamlin that Brian Scott would win one of these races this year, and it could be tonight. He'll be strong.
Speaking of Denny, there he is, row 6, going to start alongside Brendan Gaughan, who's been red hot lately.
And my gosh, Brendan Gaughan basically made his name here, winning what, 3-4 truck races in a row on the high side. So he loves the high side, Brendan Gaughan does.
Ty Dillon stuck outside the top 10 back in 16th. Sam Hornish has won here running 230 miles an hour. He'll try to do it tonight running about 180.
Ryan Sieg, J.J. Yaley, both quick in practice. They share row 10 when the green flag goes in the air tonight. And Jeremy Clements, who just missed out on advancing from round 1 to round 2, going to start in the 25th position alongside North Carolina's own Harrison Rhodes.
Brandon Godovic making his debut in the series in the 55 Viva car.
Former series champion Jeff Green on row 18 with Derek Cope. So when we go green tonight, it will be the first race under the lights in 2015, and that always adds a little extra energy for the drivers.
I think every driver loves racing at night.
It's exciting. People are off work. They're coming out. They're having a good time.
It's a lot of fun, you know. It makes for a really exciting race.
The track's faster. It's just cool to be under the light.
The cars look fast. I think the fans like it, sitting in the stands.
Go out there, hang on for dear life, and have fun.
It's more physical night.
So we're racing under the lights. Always added excitement as you look at our schedule for the rest of the evening on Fox Sports 1.
Racing under the lights is physically harder on the driver, not because of nothing to do with heat, but Mikey, it puts more G-forces. The track has got more grip. You will feel the G-forces in the seat.
I like that. I want to go fast. I'm like Ricky Bobby. I got to go.
How about this a year ago? Joe Gibbs Racing won 10 times in the Xfinity Series. We're 5 races into 2015. They're yet to get a checkered flag. But I give you this. Eric Jones is on the pole. Daniel Suarez starting inside the top 5. And Denny Hamlin, they told me earlier today, good on the long run, going to row from 11th. I got to believe we'll be talking about him tonight as well.
Like Kenny said, Denny Hamlin's smooth. He knows how to take care of those tires. He can get everything out of the car, keep it pointing in the right direction. Texas is hard on tires. The cars are going to give up a lot of speed. Watch for Denny to come to the front.
You know, everybody gets it done differently. We've never seen Jeff Gordon out of control, but we do see Brad Keselowski sideways. Everybody gets there a little bit different. Some are sideways, some are straight.
And you know, Brad Keselowski, surprisingly, has not won in the Xfinity Series so far in 2015, and this has been a great track for Team Penske. We'll see if he can get it done here tonight. Qualifying is complete. Eric Jones is on the pole. Sprint Cup qualifying still to come tonight on Fox Sports 1. We'll see you for the Xfinity race. That comes your way at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, but right now we're going to Charlotte, North Carolina. It's a weekend edition of NASCAR Race Hub. Here is John Roberts.